I'm Jule, I'm a lead business partner at Zalando. I consider myself a lesbian and I'm also a Berliner.
I'm Jenny, I'm a mother to a 2-year-old son and I work in people enablement at Zalando. I'm a pansexual woman and consider myself members of the polyamorous community and the LGBTQI+ community. So Jule, what is still challenging for you?
That's a tough one. So what I believe is still challenging, that there are not all the environment, not all the circumstances of people growing up as part of the LGBTIQ+ community have it as easy as I maybe had it, right? And I think this is where the challenge is. I am very well aware that, again, growing up in Berlin, I was super privileged to be accepted. In lack of role models and lack of representation on television, in companies, you know, as the leaders that you work with. Until we have fair representation, I think there are challenges for people who are different. And I think, yeah, that's something that maybe also the reason why I'm here today, you know, showing myself, because I feel like there are so many ways and opportunities for people who are confident to speak up to do so, and I feel like they should use their voice. You know, people are being discriminated still, whilst I was not, you know, since quite a while actually. I know that other people are in their jobs, in their progression, right, to make a career, to make a living, or, you know, on the streets, holding hands. It's still a challenge. Thinking about family, right, if I was to have a, you know, child, and that child doesn't come from my belly, I would need to adopt it. I would need to adopt my own child. And that is a discrimination that is happening still, right? So there are lots of political challenges that we should be aware of. I feel like I'm about, you know, empowering others. I feel like I'm about giving other people a voice, maybe. And that is what I do on a regular basis, through mentoring, through coaching, through, you know, marching, through participation in the community or in ERGs, and just being loud in myself.
For me, everything is still fairly new, right? Like, it's just been a few years. And as I said, like, I grew up and I lived in very heteronormative environments. So identifying as a pansexual, polyamorous woman, it's like I don't have a lot of role models. And even I think my biggest challenge is that sometimes I don't even know if I'm fully accepted in the community. Sometimes this, you know, can be hard to like really like fully show up for myself and then thereby also showing up for others. There is stuff that I'm doing. I think there is more that I could be doing. And since you were talking about like being a parent, I think this is one thing for me where I really ask myself a lot of questions, having a 2-year-old son, like how do I raise him? How do I create, you know, like a safe environment for him to express himself? And just in the last couple of weeks, there were like so many little moments where it was like, this is exactly, you know, I have the choice how I respond to those things, and how I make sure that he can grow up in a way that he can fully be himself, and he can choose himself what gender he feels like. He can choose his sexual orientation. He doesn't need to feel like he's being put in a box. But I'm also just a parent, right? Like, I'm just one person. There's another parent who might have different opinions on this. There is, you know, the outer world that will, you know, the society that will put pressure on him, possibly.